Love goes, Lord knows I'm living in the moment. Hearts get broken, stolen, decoded. I just needed a floatist to keep me going. She seemed the closest, this world's the coldest. When things seem hopeless, love and refocus. This that potion, time seem frozen. Cha-cha, slide, I'm still open. Gotta keep going, love don't wait. Clocks don't stop and hearts don't break. Wait, I'm in the place where I'm seen as a saint. On the road to success, it's shaped like a figure eight. And it can't see straight, my reach can reach space. Put it all on the line, it ain't up for debate. Love's in my DNA, the feeling is that great.
First you said you needed, gave all types of reasons. From the air that you're breathing, said I kept your heart beating. Celebrity love scene and high screen and gave you like me. And how you gonna tell me you forgot about us? So tell me you fell in love and forgot about trust. How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me you forgot about us? We were telling me the one you had to cuff. How you gonna tell me? It's no turning back, tell me. They think you lied, tell me. You said you'd ride for me, but you said goodbye, tell me. No, it's no turning back. No, it's no turning back. You said you're leaving, with all types of reasons. You changed like the seasons. Now we ain't speaking. Case of amnesia, always a pleasure. Okay, I see you, bye bye, see ya. How you gonna tell me you forgot about us? So tell me you fell in love and forgot about trust. How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me you forgot about us? We were telling me the one you had to cut. How you gonna tell me? It's no telling. They think you lied. For me, but you said goodbye to me. No, it's no turning back. No, it's no turning back. That's just the way love goes. We have already been told. That's just the way love goes. You have already been told. That's just the way you have already been told.
I seen joy, seen pain, where love came and went. Felt like paying dues all the time I spent. Ever get any better than this? Who's on that list? Sanctified shit, we all gon' fry. The chameleon camouflage, who's that fly? My confession, nah, here's my tie. All caught up in the wordplay, moves is made. As far as love goes, really who should stay? Who's to say? It's all our secret safe. Combination to the heart is communicate and be honest. The key to keeping love from leaving. Ease the pain, at least we still speaking. Meaning everything happens for a reason.
That's just the way love goes. We have already been told. That's just the way love goes. You have already been told. That's just the way love goes. You have already been told.
Ghetto bird circle poison. Of the mayor in a city that employs him. And all the crabs that be clinging to his bodies in the bags. Delivered in the PJs or somewhere in the ghetto. No insurance, no talking geckos. The hood's like Petco. Dogs, cats, snakes, rats. I mean, really, it's a trap. I watch them sprinkle that crack on the corners like poison. Ghetto birds circle the blocks, try to avoid them. The mayor in a city that employs them. And all the crabs that be clinging to his ass. Am I the only rapper that see bodies in the bags? No tombstones, just bodies in the grass. Demons I get never crash, but I'm living in the dark. All I got is myself, but I'm slipping in the darkness. Ride for my mind. Slipping in the darkness. Let's feel like we Masonic. My music is symbolic. It's nothing less than the chronic. Like Drake co-signed it. Feel like flavor in your ear when Big jumped on it. I'm calling for my hologram on it. I'm so Harlem, I don't know what to call. Chicago, Charlotte, the same ballin', boy, we bigger than bosses. Small like the mounds we built in Wisconsin. It's the secret societies under the golf courses like the Lions laying in the cut. At war and I'm down on my last cartridge as an expert marksman meeting his mark target and I'm lifted in the darkness. All I got is myself. Slipping in the darkness. Ready to ride. Slipping in the darkness. Yeah, they say the sun don't shine if Mary don't raise hell. Save your prayers if you praying for me to fail. It's the RAWYAL. Mastered the art of noise and I'm more made perfume light in the search who? Cause I'm looking like new money with a beautiful black honey that's willing to ride for me like me Clyde and Bunny. Dummies, you ain't making real hip hop. This is madness. I kick conk detonate chest while fuck ad-libs. Fall to death. I'm enjoying the ride for my mind. Slipping in the dark. Who said illegal was the easy way out into the underworld? Granted, 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. I'm making my own lane. Royale's a modern day pharaoh. From the projects, a prophet of the ghetto. Never settle, take it to another level. Where the sky ain't limited and cops don't shadow. And the women look good and they not so shallow. When your pockets ain't deep and you're not Jim Kimmel. On a late night, the streets is no place to sleep. These cold days don't come cheap. Robbed and never when heat. Learn the hard way. 4th floor seat at the Barclays. Dudes all Scarface, should've spoke to him, say hello to him, then it go through him. Talking about the gift that God gave. Chest off the board, it still played the same. With every move is something to lose, something to gain. Make everything count. Fuck pumping the ounce. I'm kingpin in the bounce. In the penthouse, top floor. Get your queen to king knocked over. Like illegal was the easy way out. They couldn't understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted, 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive.
You think you can get through me? I'm just getting started.
I'm making my own land. They want you laid up and bent this, whip bent up. They want the judge throw the book at you, the sentence at you, so they can claim the opposite. Chilling with your children and they asking who you riding with. Cops still prowling, hunger pains don't stop your stomach from growling. Stranded out in Shaolin, tiger style. Got stripes from the street life. Dudes pop pills now, they don't use pipes.
quite right. Rent still due. Looking at new, the car's unmarked and he looking at you. Even try to call Nikki, but it ain't go through. Knowing your daughter need diapers and baby shoes, got you filling out apps. It's similar, you don't rap. It's like life passed you by, she ain't look back. I'm making my own land.
And she was on time like we rehearsed it. You understand what I'm saying?
Unscripted.
Piece of the family, piece was unscripted. Okay. Last time we was here, the music wasn't working with us, so I had to bring it on the tail end. Now this time, as Divine Prophecy would have it, the music was opening our own lane right here because we do got the man, the myth, the legend, the opener of the own lane. The prophetic, artistic mastermind. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the microphone by popular request and demand. Reif Rawyal in the building.
What's going on, family? What's up? What's up? Yeah. Oh man. So you checked out the last video that continued from the conversation that we had where I was talking about the what was the root of our conversation, you know, as we carried into, you know, what's the current situation right now. And I was like, at the root of it is our conversation on the street with AOC. At the root of it was that reparations conversation, where now it's a broader national conversation with kind of facing the same dilemma of letting people know that getting your money is really important to prevent them from pushing things to a point of no return. Because initially, when I get those chain letters, those, yo, watch out for this, you know, this is happening or whatever. When you get those things, you know, I look at those things with the filter. I look at those things very cautiously. I look at those things really skeptical. And took me a long time with my life to be optimistic about everything. Now, as an artist, I'm able to I'm able to see things that many others might not see until it's created, until it's done. So I look at things as analytical as possible. And when you're dealing with the community and when you're dealing with people and when you're dealing with situations like this, that is coming from the mainstream. And after seeing what happened to Alex Jones and other people who shared information that they couldn't verify, that they couldn't back up, and even became a trend where show your sources, I don't like to share information that I can't prove. I don't like to speak on things that I can't back up. A lot of people right now are in an emotional space. So a lot of people are following and sharing information with people and information that they can't prove themselves because they're emotionally tied to it somehow. And as a military guy, I'm not really tied to any of the information in a way where I would want to prevent people from having access to the full story or the whole story. So saying that to say, anything that I say, please, anything that I say, please know that if I'm saying it, trust that I'm willing to verify it. I'm willing to back it up, or I already have the information to back up whatever I say. So, although my diploma did say good luck, it's like the information that I take is always face value until I could get deeper into it, or, you know, if it leads to that. If there's any questions prior to this, prior to me continuing on, you know, please ask, because it took me a minute to see the end of the tunnel from what just happened. This was my first time watching one of the president's press conferences. I never really watch them. I kind of get a gist of what's going on, and I appreciate the good things, and then I deplore the bad things. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, you know, of things that you agree with, things that you disagree with. And the only reason of speaking on certain things is, especially dealing with politics, only certain things that affect more than yourself or affect your immediate surrounding. This obviously affects a lot of people. So I think it's really important for us to have a conversation or carry on or share as much valid information to help as many people as possible. And so the message doesn't get lost in emotion. The last conversation and the way things are dealt, you're dealing with a lot of people who are comfortable. They're comfortable because they have a good amount of money saved, or they're comfortable for different reasons, and they just think we can ride it out, and they actually trust that the same people that brought a few people over in ships or locked a few people up in 1619 and promised that, okay, we would stop. And prior to that, there was also an agreement several generations prior to that in the 1500s, made an agreement with Gaspar Yanger to say that we won't put you as captives, and we can't do that because they made an agreement and they got beat. And then they broke that agreement in 1619, 1620, where there was initially 20 captives, and from 1619 to whatever year you want to stop, or call it the stop, did they stop? I want you to keep that in mind, that small 1619 agreement carried on for centuries. So you have to keep that in mind for the people that thinks, oh, they just said 1 week, then 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, then 1 month, then 2 months, then 3 months, then 5 months, then 6 months. And I need you to keep that in mind for why I say and why I'm saying what I'm saying, beyond this, at this point. So again, let me leave some space for the people to digest that and to see if there's any questions before I just run off and hog up the airtime. Anything?
I'm trying to pull up the video so we could actually go through the joint, because I need the people live to see the timestamp, so it ain't like you shooting. You know what I'm saying? You shooting from the hip. They'll see it and they'll be like, "Oh shit, 2012, 2014, 2015."
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? Because that's important. That's important, and
is.
and they need to see like kind of where this happened, how this happened. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to pull it up, but in the meantime, I seen a bomb ass.
Lost you, brother. I missed that.
The joint kind of
missed
came
that.
out.
Yes.
We didn't get a chance to go into the John Wick 3 connection, and this is exactly what we're seeing on the lower rung in regards to the restlessness in the streets, because we saw his fall with him going out the building, and he had to return back to the slum. Slum said that they was coming for the high table. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So it comes back into like, it went all the way back to Matrix 1, but it's coming in John Wick 4, and we coming up on Matrix 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I just want to be able to share them thoughts, but I'm pulling up the video.
Okay. Also, I mean, simply put, but because time is of the essence, go to royalenews.com. It's there, man. Like the video is there. Go, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm doing this purposely, so we can continue to pendulum the information. God forbid I get shut down. God forbid the brother Knowledge gets shut down, or anybody else gets shut down. At least we share the information, and the information is there. So we can kind of grow a network of truth, a network of people that you can trust. And the reason why I'm talking with the brother right now is because I see him share his platform with a lot of people that you can trust, with a lot of people that I feel are worth your time of listening and worth the information that they do share, because everybody has a piece. It's not just that brother or that sister or that doctor or that whoever, you know what I'm saying? Or that spiritual person. It's everybody has a piece, but you have to use your time wisely. If somebody is not credible and somebody has been proven to be a fraud, a scam artist, or whatever the case is, I suggest don't emotionally tie yourself to situations that can bring more harm. And even the best liars, they do carry some truth. But I'm just saying that to say that just know that you have to, you're going to be bombarded with a wave of propaganda from the bottom to the top, right? And again, for the people that are just talking simply to get the click, just be careful, because right now, as we, having a conversation about, metaphorically the Matrix into or John Wick, et cetera, metaphorically, but in real life, right now, you are witnessing what is called cyberism. Beginning of cyberism, and we frozen up. See, I froze for a second. But what right now you're witnessing, what is called cyberism. A lot of people think we're still in a capitalist nation. We're not. A lot of people know about corporatism, and corporatists are, I would say, Donald Trump is a capitalist in a corporatist space. He carries himself like a capitalist, but functions well in that corporatist space. And the end of corporatism is now. It's something where if you think about Warren Buffett, who is a traditional investor, and so many other investors like Magic Johnson, and we've seen Michael Jordan our entire lives work their ways up to 2 billion, and we've seen Warren Buffett hold on or maintain his status of 50 billion or better for decades, right? But the new space and the new guys are double, triple, and quadrupling those numbers in a short amount of time, and at a record speed. And the reason is because we're dealing with something that I label or I title cyberism. Cyberism is where you would say, okay, people are clout chasing, or people are looking for fame. It's the clicks that that click counts, even if you don't get paid on Instagram, even if you don't get paid on Facebook. Every time you post, every time you speak, everything you share is a click. You might not get paid just to post a meme that you feel like, oh, it's funny, or this is important, or whatever the case is, but somebody's getting paid. And that click ties into advertisement. That click ties into the new currency, that Microsoft, Bill Gates just put out a patent for the new a new currency of human crypto. So meaning you've always been valuable. In the video that I just recently shared, that you can check on royalnews.com, that that brother Knowledge is trying to pull up, is just asking the question of what do we value, right? So on a small scale, which is not a small scale, Black people are not in no shape, figure, or form, a small amount of the population, but just you can see the resistance of truth. You can see the resistance, and you can see the fear. You can see the discomfort with change, and it's at our own detriment. And the reason for not going back and having the same silly conversation that I already knew for a fact what would happen in the future. And when you have soul, and when you're tied to the consciousness, there's different levels of consciousness, there's different layers, but that one consciousness fabric, you can travel through time, travel through consciousness, and see ahead, see back, and see and live in the present. And that's where you get a lot of our African symbols, where the Sankofa, or different symbols where they say look back to, look at the past to know where you're going, meaning that hindsight is 2020. Should I keep going? I see you pulling something up. Okay, so just cautiously keep it, to keep it going. So so yeah, so at this point they are attempting to, well, pretty much he's going to take the money, right? And when I say he's going to take the money, meaning in order to get more trillions, that these unheard of numbers, is a lot of people think like, oh, where's this money coming from? And it's coming from the clicks, the Federal Reserve and other. It's all they already had. They already had forecasts where currency was going, and so what's that money's coming from the clicks, and everybody at home is on their computers or their phones, and they're doing, and a lot of people right now, a lot of these guys, that's where that money is coming from. It's coming from those clicks, which tie into advertisement, which tie into everything else that they're going to try to sell you after this. But that's where the money's coming from. But if you're not clear on that, and you share the propaganda and the fear mongering, you feed that into this new algorithm, this new super computer that Gates again has running on simulation on multiple platforms globally. If you feed that algorithm a certain kind of content, that algorithm will grow that, and in turn, if you keep feeding that fear, meaning you keep feeding the information of, oh my God, look at the bodies, look how many people, et cetera, then what are you going to push forward? You're going to push forward them saying, okay, well, we also have the solution. And if you see and you look at the information on what their solutions are, obviously the RFID chip, whether it's in the arm, the hand, or the head, that is one of their solutions, whether it's coming through vaccine or just taking a precaution. So I'm just saying, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have integrity. Don't get lost with those people. Simply put, use this time to do some of the things that you always wanted to do. You always wanted to get healthy. Take these 3 months, these 2 months, or however, these 2 weeks or whatever, use this time to, focus on getting healthy, being smart, and reading, studying, writing, gaining the wisdom and understanding that you would need to walk into this new generation, which is called Generation Alpha. So again, I'm gonna just leave some space for any for any dialogue or whatever, without holding up the conversation. So yeah, brother, you there?
Of everyday Americans, and soon. What are the details?
In all honesty, this one goes back to yeah, it's frozen. Yo, it's frozen. Can you hear me or no? That one.
Right. Please.
I'll continue on that.
Beginning even reparations.
Keep your filters up. There's a lot of things going on.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Just want to go to it? All right, listen. The money, why's the big debate when we acting for it?
What I would say about reparations is it's unworkable.
Plan B, to have you so confused and fighting against one another that you forget that bang. Reparations to slowing down or possibly neutralizing World War III, which is the 2017-2020 real push.
Don't listen to those niggas on our side to get reparations.
The reason why I'm pushing for reparations so hard is because the money that they're using to fund the ships and to buy all different types of weapons of mass destruction and buy these drones and all of that.
Okay, we're creating some pretty powerful stuff here, and it should be clear that it can be misused and it can be used. Okay, the things that you could do with these type of machines is a little bit terrifying.
That's your money. Oh, yeah, that's our reparations. You in Harlem. Cool.
Every dollar that you turn down, they spend it.
This is reparations right here. You know this. You say, wait a minute, that's in the Bible.
There's nothing else to stand on. If you got their ass with reparations, guess what? They don't need to pray to Jesus for it. Come on.
You know why they don't deal with this?
Yeah,
They don't deal with this simply because what? The white man taught them what's in the scriptures.
The whole Zionist corporatist movement.
Obviously, we're gonna listen to whatever protocol that's going on.
They styling on you. They like, yo, as long as I don't want it and you keep banging on each other, guess what? We taking it.
Polling is 3 years old. There's a question here. The way politics have played out for the last 3 years, if we poll it again now, and I bet someone's about to.
Talented.
Reif Rawyal, a multimedia artist.
Rawyal is a motherfucking truth, y'all.
I bring the value of the hood up. Yeah. I bring the value of the hood up. I bring the value of the hood up. I bring the value of the hood up. Hard top, Bugatti, raw, slick as a shorty. Cool, low as the Rory, who's better? My memory's funky. I know my G, ill as Johnny's. Mike, Ricky, and Ronnie, Rain, long as Mugabe's. They cling to every line. I'm early, Whitney and Bobby. Musically, I'm ahead of my time. Tight as the Marleys. Fly every party. I'm the elephant sitting in your tenement lobby. In my president's train, I'm the rap. I'm knocking the value of the hood up. Yeah. I bring the value of the hood up. I bring it. Maneuvering through mayhem, manifesting material. You dealing with the imperial guard of this flow shit. Punchlines a heavyweight couldn't go toe to toe within the bar fight. Niggas die trying to stop us. This is our life. Get money, giving honeys hard pipe. Screw you and your funny style. Too high to dumb it down. Made in America. Told you I don't fuck around. Rothschild elegance. 5-star veteran. All y'all together get buried in the shirt. I bring it.
Yeah. So now that you've seen the video, I'm not sure if you wanted to. You said you wanted to pull any questions from that, because you know how I do. I make sure there's enough to talk about. There's enough to validate any prior doubts. So I'm just open to whatever questions.
That was crazy. You got a movie, you got some art, you got some science, and you got a verse in that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So you use time and space to your advantage, as you always do. You understand what I'm saying? Because you know the attention spans, you know if shit is too long, you know what you got to have in there. Like, you got to put all the right alchemy together and prove your point at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Like, how long has this conversation been going on? Who's the players? What's the game? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what's the opposition? You know what I mean? Like, so, like, yo, we talk about this for a minute. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, that's why we was having. I was talking to John with conversation. I was like, how far does this go back? This shit goes back like golden era consciousness, because it goes back to the scene at the beginning of the movie. The key maker is stitching up, Neo in essence. You understand what I'm saying? And he shoots him. You see what I'm saying? And he shoots him. He shoots him twice. He's like, yo, they'll never believe that I just let you walk up out of here. Mm-hmm. He gets shot by the agents in Matrix 2, giving Neo the key to go see the architect. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's defending Odin's character in the hotel that got decommissioned. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what do you need? He's like, I need guns, lots of guns. Back to the Matrix 1 type situation. You look at the market, you look at what everybody is buying. You see what I'm saying? Like the store, you can't get no ammo. You understand? Now, in a way, in a hysteric type of fashion, just as planned, and you can't get in on it because you cannot trade. You understand what I'm saying? So if you wanted to put some dough behind it and make a come up, you're blocked from it. So all of the hysteria that's associated with it is an even greater money grab. You see what I'm saying? Like you ain't think about investing in no toilet tissue while they was toilet tissue. You understand? Like there was hand sanitizer, all of this shit. Now all of the food that's on the shelves. You see what I'm saying? So like all of these things right there, just like you showing the layers and peeling back the layers right before our eyes. And how many times have you done it? You see what I'm saying? Like all these things come in and coincide together. You see what I'm saying? So now you talking about we got the stimulus. You see what I'm saying? Like there's another situation. Is that a new phenomenon? No. Every president that came through with some kind of stimulus proposal since World War One. Since World War One. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when you talking about economic depression versus a recession, there are people out there with that information, putting all of this together, and we got the deep ones out here, and you can't see that they pulled off The Big Short. I don't know how many times, and then Confessions of Economic, and they tell you what they do around the world, and you don't think that it's happening in your backyard. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and the digital situation and the technology grab, everything all together in that whole bag right there. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I can see Royale in his own lane. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy over here. All these accidents and shit that's happening that could be preventable. Like, all right, nah. I'm in my own lane. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? We stay in our lane, we stay focused and continue to move. You know what I'm saying? And don't get caught up in the mayhem. You see what I'm saying? So
exactly that. Yeah, it's definitely showing. It's definitely showing how people are in Wonderland at this point. in a space that I've been since I woke up. You got what I'm saying? Like it's like your breakdown of it is one of the main reasons I love building with you, because you see it, and your perception and the way you interpret it, the way you break it down is unmatched from from what I've had access to. I know there's a lot of us who have that third eye and that recognition, but I just love the way you the way you translate it. And that's one of the reasons I say it's a soundtrack to I Speak American. I Speak American is a soundtrack. So again, that project, I have a lot of records that I wanted to release, and I have somebody that I really trust that love the content that I create, but also know that I'm from a mainstream space. If you see behind me, I have plaques for being in a mainstream place. I was signed as a mainstream artist. So what winds up happening is people who know that I create that content, they like pull that back. Let's put that out. Let's change the energy. Let's get some of that mainstream vibe back. And I had to let the people that I trusted know that the way December was ending and January was starting, that it wasn't really time to be talking about, the world is so happy. It's because just the vibe, January's started with the bombing of Iran, and it just went on from there with Kobe to everything at this point. So your interpretation in this conversation is really about translating the corporate matrix into the American dialect. And that's, as a visual artist, I have to do it in a way where people like me get it, and then people who are more literal and more prove it, those people, because the child support conversation, a lot of people doubt it even after I won. A lot of people still doubt it. Even after I gave them the information through personal conversations, they still doubt it, and did nothing. And now you can see the world is living pretty much my testament, my life. Like my past is the public's national testament right now. You guys are living something that I already went through. That's why I'm doing my best to show you, like, I can verify everything. I don't have to pull from the Black Panthers or anybody else. I'm showing you my own life. I'm not showing you something that I haven't lived or experienced. When I talk about the military, or I talk about any so-called theory that I might have, or ideal or intuitive feeling, I'll back it up, because I'm telling you, I'm moving in a space where if I feel it and I say it, the universe will immediately tell me through karma or whatever, whether it's right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the programming that we get from mainstream media is that predictive programming, but it's not really predictive. They're showing you their plans. So the difference between me and the mainstream media, where they're giving you an entertaining version of their bigger plan. It's not like, oh my God, they predicted this. No, prediction is separate from an actual presentation in a plan. And that's what a lot of this is. A lot of this stuff that we see in the media, they always go to the director, or the director always goes to the military and whoever else he needs to go to figure out if what they say is actually, to apply it to the film. Like, even if you go to a movie like Minority Report, and you look at and you listen to the director talk, and you listen to that they actually, went and found out, okay, this is where cars is going. This is what, when you walk into a store, you're getting a click from your eye, and so forth and so on. And what's interesting is a lot of women were not into those films. They were into emotional films. So now they're in a space where they thought guys were just too much with all of this, exploding cars and all of these other things or whatever. Now we're in that space where they like, so wait a minute, The Matrix? Wait a minute, John Wick? Wait a minute. So now they have to kind of catch up. And this space right here is giving them time to catch up, because the generation Alpha is actually being born, and they have to raise those babies, or their children have to raise those babies. And most of those women that didn't believe the guy, the husband, or the baby father, that was saying, yo, I'm having it hard out there with the police, then you fast forward, and Bloomberg actually says, yeah, I don't care. I wanted to lock up anybody from 15 to 25. They was all criminals. And then you see, when I opposed this 10 years ago, and the Daily News made it a big thing, and it got kind of and it spiraled out of my personal control, or even their control, is they had to put a spin on the conversation by asking, was I racist? Which obviously I'm not. And then Bloomberg went ahead and paid people that we love and respect, whether it's Cory Booker to Jay-Z and Swiss Beats, to side with them. Fast forward 2020, and now you see, like, you've seen them on stage fall apart or give a corporate answer when asked about beyond our community. He's sexist with women in his own space. And it just was like, okay, for me personally, it is finishing chapters, and for everybody else, it's their beginning. So at this point, again, absorbing the information, I just wanted to be able to see, like, okay, how do we get clarity? How do we make it to the other side? How do we get to the end of the rainbow, the pot of gold, to where you can say, okay, everything is back to normal. Now, back to normal cannot be a bunch of teenagers still running wild, jumping little girls. That's why when I seen it, I was like, coronavirus shit is getting real. I stay quiet, social distancing, because I feel like a lot of people did need to sit down and still do need to sit down. So when I seen, on the other side out in LA, when you see the guys running up in people's houses and they on camera and the police green light, the young man, the young homie Pop Smoke getting killed, even though that whole situation is questionable, but at the same time, a lot of people in different states and are doing things that need to be sat down on some social distancing. And I personally agree with, we could all social distance to begin and take this time to free our minds and to begin to take this time to regain and re-energize our health, because what's happening next and what's going to happen next is what you would call the quantum space. So this is before quantum. Right now we're dealing with supercomputers. I already beat it. I already beat the algorithm. I have my own algorithm, and the algorithm is mocking my algorithm. So it's helping me at the same time. So again, I appreciate the blessing. I say is, I like to thank Illuminati for rooting for me. And it's and again, it's just metaphorically saying, look, whether it's child support, Bloomberg, Rudy Eugene, the false flags, whatever it is, and then fast forward, you can see those things happen in real time. So the blessing was learning from our prior elders. The blessing was knowing that standing on your soapbox, you even hear Farrakhan say that envy will have a lot of people in different communities allow something to be destroyed just because you're envious of the person. You won't allow something to succeed. I'm just paraphrasing that thing, but I have that clip, and it's and him saying that is really potent. Even though I'm not the biggest Farrakhan person, because I'm more into Malcolm. You see, I got it. I have that connection with with that vibe. But that being said, right now is the best time to focus on that clarity, to know what you're dealing with when we get in that quantum space where things really move fast. Prior years from 2012 to about now was rolling out from 2012, something could last a year. 2013, it would last about 8 months. It was like slipping down to the point where this year it's something that's viral is trending. Something that's viral, meaning like a super tragedy like Kobe would only last long enough until the next thing. And these are like super tragedies, and that's only dealing with the supercomputer. Whereas the quantum computer, it happens at a hyper speed, and that's why when you look at a lot of the babies that was born at a certain time, if you just hand them a phone and hand them some type of technology, they already know how to move through it, where you done had this piece of equipment maybe for God knows how many months or years, and you still trying to read the instructions. You hand it to a baby and they got it figured out. So this new batch of babies, I do think what I know is the millennials are already 20 years old. The millennials are from the year 2000 to the year 2020. And the millennials at this point are already basically grown, but the plan for the millennials was destroy them through food. I have several documentaries of different doctors and different experts, like they was going to be attacked through food. So the millennials were not expected to outlive Generation X, which is crazy, meaning like or Generation Y. So this is like one of the first generations that they feel is not going to outlive not going to outlive their parents, where there's another generation that did it that they compared it to. I can't remember right now, but this next generation coming out, Generation Alpha and then Generation Beta, this next generation, the attack it's still with food. So the soy that's in the baby formula. The next attack is through the frequencies. So that's where you see them setting up the 5Gs, and you see them putting up these towers out of all places next to the schools. So now's a good time. Your child is not there, you know, to do your own research and see if this is true or false. See if you want to give your child back to the system and allow them to attack your child with frequencies that you will wind up paying dearly for with hospital bills because of cancer and different ailments that you, God knows what different kind of ailments or different type of programming that you won't even see because it's in the real invisible enemy. So now's a good time to, you know, to see for yourself, teach your child, you know, what it is to be prepared, to prepare yourself to deal with this new enemy, which is not new. It's just a different version. So capitalism is a different version of corporatism. Cyberism is a combination of capitalism and corporatism at a hyper speed. And this is before quantum, and we're going to go after quantum, possibly in a couple of years. But I already know that the military had cell phones for decades before they released it to the public. So these are things that I've been studying for as long as I can figure out how could I create visual content or audio content and master it. And just by studying that, you wind up going into a rabbit hole of who's building this, who's creating it, what's next, so forth and so on. And being a futurist, that kind of stuff is extremely entertaining for me. So it's a type of learning that I don't see as work, where a lot of other people might see it as work. So that's why now when we fast forward into that space, it's easy for me to kind of see through the fog and see through the nonsense. So all of that being said, we're in a space where it's about the clicks. Everybody needs to focus on getting a check. That's all, you know, before they ask for more money, which they're asking for more money, say, I want my check. Give me my check before we move on to asking for more money and for another check for another corporations that already got money. So definitely focus on that, just not just at this, like before, what I was saying was before it was just black people, but now it's just everybody. Where my personal experiment that we just showed, where I'm talking to the black people and they like, oh, we don't need no check, we got the Bible. And now if you play that game, you're gonna really regret it. So I suggest everybody say, yeah, we know it's a game being played, give us our check. I got patents to anything, I got the proof to anything that I'm saying, if you question it. And I will, you know, do my best to continue to show that on royalmusic.com. royalnews.com is where you can go and definitely follow the YouTubes from there, and reach out through the social media. And again, let me just leave some space for for our good brother to just in case he want to add something to it. But I'm going to close with this. Like, if you're not familiar with Cecil Rhodes, you better get familiar, because a lot of the presidential candidates were Rhodes scholars. And who's Cecil Rhodes? If you remember, if you ever seen the Africans with their hands cut off because of the diamond mines and that whole space of World War I, that is the Cecil Rhodes scramble for Africa, is Cecil Rhodes. And his money is being used to continue the Bill Gates program of control and depopulation to a certain extent, because this new twist is you don't have to depopulate the people to have control if you in the cyberspace, if you control how people move, or you get money from anything people do in that space that we was talking about before, like being able to figure out how everybody else is already monetized every time we press clicks, because everybody's definitely home on their computers, on their phones at this time, which somebody is getting rich from it. So Cecil Rhodes' conversation and that whole Rhodes Scholar thing from Susan Rice is tied into every community. You know, whether you not into the hip hop, not into consciousness, and you just into politics, well, you gotta know who that is. So it's definitely a power move, a money move, and they got their money. So in order to prevent them from giving their solution, which could be, you know, the chip, the vaccine with the chip, the vaccine itself, which is obviously really deadly, that's their solution, you know, and you don't want that solution. Our generation has succeeded so far beating the 2017 deadline, and these guys are trying it again, and they'll see how far they can take it. So that's what I'm gonna say, and obviously I'll build on that more. We'll have more time to build on it, but definitely check out the video that was just posted. It's really important, where you can see, like, you know, the protocols haven't changed. Also read that. I know a lot of people might know what the Willie Lynch is, or read that document, but you also need to know historically what is the what do you call that? The protocols of the learned elders or something like that, of Zion, or the protocols of Zion. You need to embrace that information, whether it's fact or fiction. You just need to understand that it's been around for a really long time, and somebody believes it. So you don't have to believe it, but just know it. Just, you know, don't be ignorant to it. So, yo, I love building with you, man. My diploma said good luck, so you can take it how you take it, guys. But at the same time, those who are aware that I don't gotta lie. It's like I don't gotta make it up. I don't gotta.
Well, I appreciate you coming through, taking time out of your schedule to add on with us. You know what I'm saying? When I seen it, I was like, yo, nah, we we need this. We need this. We need this combo right here. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the tip of the iceberg in regards to this, and there's more to come. You see what I'm saying? Especially if you in a spot they got hurricane season coming right after this. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna get some hot weather. There's gonna be some other things going along with that. But in the midst of that hot weather, the hurricanes is coming. So hey, I'm loving Mother Nature. Continue to do. You understand what I'm saying? So we partying. Let everybody know where they can find you, find your music, support the movement, support the mission. I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yo, Reef, I don't know if that call knocked your sound out, but I can't hear you. All right, catch us live at 5. We'll be live at 5 p.m. today. It's going down. Queen Shanika Bonino will be in the building. We're going to get some more of that goddess energy coming through with some healing tips and much, much more. And then we got Mississippi Motivational Monday, where the Sunshine Goddess at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace and love to everybody. Shout out to Royale. Make sure y'all go to royalenews.com. Get those updates. You understand? Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to my cousin come through out here. Tamara, salute to you. Okay? Cousin in the building. So, love to the family. Love to everybody who tuned in, listening. You understand? Get with our sister Stephanie Jones to get your immune system on point. You understand what I'm saying? Total life changes. Get some new products, get some new services, get some of that NutriBurst. You understand? Get that NutriBurst in your life. All right, fam? We out of here. Peace.